Hello friend, welcome to day 80 of 7:30. Today we continue with chapter 14 of Leviticus until verse 47. From the New Living Translation, it reads, On the eighth day, each person being purified must bring two male lambs and a 1-year-old female lamb, all with no defects, along with a grain offering of 6 quarts of choice flour moistened with olive oil and a cup of olive oil. Okay, then the officiating priest will present that person for purification along with the offerings before the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle. The priest will take one of the male lambs and the olive oil and present them as a guilt offering, lifting them up as a special offering to the Lord. And 13, he will then slaughter the male lamb in the sacred area where the sin offerings and the burnt offerings are slaughtered. As with the sin offering and the guilt offering belongs to the priest, it is a most holy offering. Right, and the priest will then take some of the blood of the guilt offering and apply it to the lobe of the right ear, the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot of the person being purified. Then the priest will pour some of the olive oil into the palm of his own left hand. 16. He will dip his right finger into the oil and in his palm and sprinkle some of it with his finger 7 times before the Lord. 17. The priest will then apply some of the oil in his palm over the blood from the guilt offering that is on the lobe of the right ear, the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot of the person being purified. 18. The priest will apply the oil remaining in his hand to the head of the person being purified. Through this process, the priest will purify the person before the Lord. 19. Then the priest must present the sin offering to purify the person who was cured of the skin disease. After that, the priest will slaughter the burnt offering, 20, and offer it on the altar along with the palm offering. Through this process, the priest will purify the person who was healed, and the person will be ceremonially clean. 21. But anyone who is too poor and cannot afford these offerings, they may bring one male lamb for a guilt offering to be lifted up as a special offering for purification. The person must also bring 2 quarts of choice flour moistened with olive oil for the grain offering and a cup of olive oil. 22. The offering must also include 2 turtle doves and 2 young pigeons, whichever the person can afford. One of the pair must be used for the sin offering and the other for the burnt offering. 23. On the 8th day of the purification ceremony, the person being purified must bring the offerings to the priest in the Lord's presence at the entrance of the tabernacle. 24. The priest will take the lamb for the guilt offering along with the olive oil and lift them up as a special offering to the Lord. 25. Then the priest will slaughter the lamb for the guilt offering. He will take some of its blood to apply it to the lobe of the right ear, the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot of the person being purified. 26. The priest will also pour some of the olive oil into the palm of his own left hand. 27. He will dip his right finger into the oil in his palm and sprinkle some of it 7 times before the Lord. 28. The priest will then apply some of the oil in his palm over the blood from the guilt offering that is on the lobe of the right ear, the thumb of the right hand, and the big toe of the right foot of the person being purified. 29. The priest will apply the oil remaining in his hand to the head of the person being purified. Through this process, the priest will purify the person before the Lord. 30. Then the priest will offer 2 turtle doves or the 2 young pigeons, whichever the person can afford. One of them is for the sin offering and the other is for the burnt offering to be presented along with the grain offering. And then through this process, the priest will purify the person being or before the Lord. Okay. And then 32. These are the instructions to purify for those who have recovered from a serious skin disease, but who cannot afford to bring the offerings normally required for a ceremony of purification. All right, 33. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, 34, when you arrive in Canaan, and I am giving you, if you arrive in Canaan, the land I am giving you as your own possession, I may contaminate some of the houses in your land with mildew. The owner of such house must then go to the priest and say, it appears that my house has some kind of mildew. 36. Before the priest goes in to inspect the house, he must have the house emptied, so nothing inside it will be pronounced unclean. 37. Then the priest will go in and examine the mildew on the walls. If he finds greenish or reddish streaks of the contamination appears to go deeper than the wall's surface, the priest will step outside the door and put the house in quarantine for 7 days. 39. On the seventh day, the priest must return for another inspection. If he finds that the mildew on the walls of the house has spread, 14, then the priest must order that the stones from those areas be removed. The contaminated material will then be taken outside the town in an area designated for ceremonially unclean. 41. Next, the inside of the walls of the entire house must be scraped thoroughly and scrapings dumped into the unclean place outside the town. 42. Other stones will be brought in to replace the ones that were removed. The walls will be replastered. 41. But if the mildew reappears after all the stones have been replaced and the house has been scraped and replastered, 44. The priest must return and inspect the house again. If he finds that the mildew has spread, the walls were clearly contaminated with a serious mildew, and the house is defiled. 45. It must be torn down, and all the stones, timbers, and the plaster must be carried out of town to the place designated for ceremonially unclean. 46. Those who enter the house during a period of quarantine will be ceremonially unclean until evening. 47. And all who sleep or eat in the house must wash their clothes. And until we meet again tomorrow, stay blessed.